Chapter 5 Mr. Hynde Gets Funky. If Andrea and her mother got Mr. Hynde fired, it would be horrible disaster. I was determined to stop them, but in the meantime, I had another problem to worry about: multiplication. We were just starting to learn about multiplication, and I didn't get it. I understood how 2 plus 2 equals 4, but then how was it possible for 2 times 2 to equal 4 too? I mean, 3 plus 3 and 3 times 3 don't equal the same number. It just didn't make sense. The way I looked at it, if 2 plus 2 equals 4, and 2 times 2 also equals 4, then addition and multiplication were the same thing. And if they were the same thing, why did we have to learn both of them? I was having a dull enough time with education and subtraction before this multiplication stuff messed everything up. I asked Miss Daisy to explain how 2 plus 2 and 2 times 2 can both equal 4. How should I know? She replied. I don't know anything about math. Miss Daisy is crazy. Everybody line up, Miss Daisy said after we finished putting away our math books. Line up for what? It's time for music class with Mr. Hynde, Miss Daisy said. Yippee, shouted me and Michael and Ryan. Boo, said Andrea and Emily. Andrea, I thought you loved music, Miss Daisy said. You've been playing piano ever since you were 4. She must be really tired, I said. Nobody laughed at my joke again. But I didn't care. I'm going to keep telling that joke until somebody laughs. Mr. Hynde doesn't play music, Andrea said. He just makes noise. Well, we have to go to music anyway, said Miss Daisy. Na 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 boo boo on Andrea. I hate her. We went to the music room in single file. This girl, Annie, was the line leader. Andrea and Emily were at the end of the line, which was the first in the history of the world. They always want to get everywhere before anyone else. The music room was empty, but suddenly Mr. Hynde sweat and threw off his cape. Should we sit like pretzels, Mr. Hynde? Somebody asked. No way, homies, Mr. Hynde said. You sit for reading and writing and arithmetic. In music, you get up and shake your booty. The only way to get down is to get up. Mr. Hynde jumped around like a lunatic, and so did we. It was cool. Okay, my little peeps, Mr. Hynde said. Today, we're gonna learn about percussion is. I raised my hand and Mr. Hynde called on me. Percussion is when you say bad words, I said. That's caution, brother, Mr. Hynde said. Andrea, percussion is when one's object hits against another object, she said, all proud of herself. Word up, Andrea, Mr. Hynde said. Andrea thinks she knows everything. I'd like to percussion her with a stick. Listen up, Mr. Hynde said. He picked up 2 rulers from his desk and started hitting things with them. He hit his desk, he hit the chalkboard, he hit the window, he hit a coffee mug. You hear how each object makes a different sound, Mr. Hynde asked. That's not the music, Andrea said. It's just noise. Oh, that's cool, girl, Mr. Hynde said. Sister, anything can be musical. Mr. Hynde started running around the room and drumming on everything in sight with the rulers. He's a good drummer. Then he put his foot inside the garbage can and started tap dancing around the room while he kept whacking things with the rulers. He's a good tap dancer too. It was getting noisy. Andrea and Emily put their hands over their ears. Mr. Hynde started making weird drumming sounds with the mouth while he was whacking things with the rulers and tap dancing with the garbage can on his foot. It was cool. Everybody except for Andrea and Emily was dancing around. Mr. Hynde started hitting his butt on empty desk while he was making weird drumming sounds with his mouth and whacking things with the rulers and tap dancing with the garbage can. Mr. Hynde is out of his mind. He was doing all those things at the same time when suddenly the most amazing thing in the history of the world happened. The door to the music room opened. And who do you think walked on? It was Mr. Klotz, the school principal. Oh snap, said Mr. Hynde. Mr. Klotz is completely bad. I mean, he has no hair at all on his head. Everything stopped. Mr. Hynde stood there like a statue with a garbage can on its foot. Everybody stopped dancing. There was no noise at all. We were all looking at Mr. Klotz as he stood in the doorway. You should have been there. It was unbearable. We didn't know what to say. We didn't know what to do. I had to think fast. Finally, I said, Mr. Hynde is teaching us caution. Is that so? Principal Klotz asked. Precaution, said Mr. Hynde. Mr. Hynde is hitting things and making way too much noise, said Andrea. He calls that music. Principal Klotz walked over to Mr. Hynde. Is that true, Mr. Hynde? Asked the Principal Klotz. Nobody said a word. Nobody made a sound. I thought I was gonna die. True that, sir. I'm afraid it is, said Mr. Hynde. He took his foot out of the garbage can. He was damaging school properly and causing a discussion, said Andrea. Are you going to fire him? She had this evil smile on her face. All the kids looked at Mr. Klotz. Mr. Klotz looked at Mr. Hynde. Mr. Hynde looked at Mr. Klotz. And then Mr. Klotz did the most amazing thing in the history of the world. He started rapping. Mr. Hynde is pat. I'm down with that. Even kids who are Russian got to learn about percussion. So make some noise, you little girls and boys. I rule the school, and I say Mr. Hynde school. In school, I'm a king, and I say, do your own thing. Now watch me groove, 'cause I can bust a move. Then Mr. Klotz and a little dance and spun on the floor on his back. Mr. Klotz is nuts. With Principal Klotz still sitting on the floor, Mr. Hynde came up behind him and started drumming the top of his belt head like it was bongo. It was amazing. You should have been there. It was almost even better than watching TV. Everybody except Andrea and Emily started clapping. Mr. Klotz got up and said he had to go back to his office and do some important principal stuff. Please continue to get down and funky with your bad self, said Mr. Klotz. Peace out. And then he left. You should have seen the look on Andrea's face when Mr. Hynde was playing bongos on Principal's head. I guess she's not going to get Mr. Hynde fired at all. Ha ha ha. It was the greatest thing that ever happened in the history of the world. I hate her.